Well, welcome to another edition of OpenAirAtheist. And here I am once again at my cyber pulpit, if you will. It's been one heck of a morning, so let's get this over with. I want to refute the Trinity real quick. Let's get on it. When refuting Christians, it's very important that you realize that you can use scientific information and all kinds of evidential arguments. But when dealing with Christians, sometimes the best refutation, often anyways, is to use their own text. So here we go. If you want to upset an evangelical Christian, don't tell that person that you don't believe in Jesus. Tell them that you believe in Jesus, but you don't believe in the Trinity. Okay, year 325 CE, Constantine pretty much instituted the Trinity at the Council of Nicaea. Pretty much decided what was biblical canon, what scriptures would go in and what scriptures wouldn't. If you look at Numbers 23:19, God says, "I am not a man or a mortal." And I don't know if you guys know the articulation of the Trinity. The Trinity is basically that God is three persons in one essence. Jesus is not the Father is not the Son, the Holy Spirit is not the Father or the Son, but they're all co-equal. They're all of the same substance, but yet they're separate persons. What they mean by persons can be debated. Also, if you look in Isaiah 11:2 and 3, so chapter 11, verses 2 and 3, you see that the Messiah, because this is a messianic passage, which is supposed to be, according to the Christians, referring to Jesus, the Messiah will fear God and delight in the fear of the Lord. Why would God fear God? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Matthew 24:36, Jesus himself admits he doesn't know everything. Now, if he's God, isn't he supposed to be omniscient? Isn't he supposed to know everything? That doesn't make sense to me. He says, "No one knows the day nor the hour that the Son of Man will return except for the Father in heaven, neither the angels nor himself." No. Matthew 26:53, why would Jesus have to appeal to his Father to send angels in his defense if he and his Father are God? That doesn't make sense. He'd have to appeal to God if he is God. That doesn't make any sense. If he is co-equal with God. Why would Jesus pray to God at any point in time in the New Testament if he is God? What is he talking to himself? And also the whole thing, no one knows but the Father in heaven. I don't know, but I'm God. Isn't that kind of like if I owed you a bunch of money, say, I don't know, $500, and you said, "Hey, where's my $500? And I said, "I don't have it in this pocket." Doesn't make any sense. John 14:28, Jesus says his Father is greater than he. I thought that he was God. I thought him and the Father are one. This John 17:3, this is everlasting life, that they might know the only true God and Jesus Christ whom thou hast sent. Now, that doesn't make any sense. That they might know the only true God, but yet Jesus is supposed to be God, but yet he's not referring to himself as God, but as the one that God has sent. That doesn't make any sense. John 20:17, Jesus says that he is ascending to his Father and his disciples' Father, and Jesus is God and they're God. Now, how can God be Jesus' God if Jesus is God? That doesn't make any sense either. Contradictions, my friends. Then Christians use 10:30. I think it's John 10:30. Jesus says, "I and the Father are one." Now, the same Greek word let me point out, is also used in John 17:11. So they'll say, oh, well, Jesus says that I and the Father are one. There, he's claiming to be God. He's claiming to be of the same essence. And then I just point out John, in the same book, but in a different chapter, John 17:11, uses the same Greek word for one, and where Jesus prays that his disciples will be one as he and the Father are one. So are the disciples part of the Trinity? So is there more than 3? Maybe we should add in 12 more people to the members of the Trinity. Maybe, hey, why not, right? So these are just some of the inherent contradictions in the Trinity. I mean, the Trinity is a contradiction in itself. I mean, I believe it was, the concept was pretty much drawn up by Tertullian, who was a pagan as far as I'm concerned. And also notice that a lot of the church fathers, such as Origen, didn't even believe in that Jesus was co-equal with the Father, but that he was subordinate. And name anywhere where Jesus claims to be God. In fact, if you look further back earlier in John, where a lot of Christians like to quote, where the Jews pick up stones to stone him. And they say, see, look, they're going to stone him because he's claiming to be God. And the Jews even say that. They say, we're not stoning you for any of the miracles you've done or any of the good things, but for claiming to be God. And Jesus says, have you not read where it is written that, we are all gods? So what is he saying here? That we're all gods. Obviously, he's not saying that he's God. He's saying that in some sense the Jewish scriptures teach that we are all sons of God, basically, is my understanding of it. And also a rabbi friend of mine. So, as you can see here, this is utterly ridiculous. If you look at other passages, such as the Pauline epistle, I can't remember, I think it's 1 Corinthians, where Paul says something to the effect that every head of a woman is man, and every head of a man is Christ, and the head of Christ is God. So obviously, even Paul here is saying that at least in this passage, this particular passage, that Christ is not co-equal with God. So I further state that the Trinity is obviously a later invention of the Nicene Creed. This is not something that Jesus, or at least I highly doubt that this is something that Jesus perpetuated himself, that he was God. There's another instance where a young ruler, I think it is, that comes up to Jesus and calls him good teacher, and he says, don't call me good. Only one alone is good, and that is God. And then you can see that the man learns from it, and he calls him master instead of good teacher. So he learns from that correction from Jesus. So anyways, again, directed to reformedevangelists.com. If you'd like to go ahead and comment on some of these refutations that I've thrown out there, I would highly appreciate that. Again, this is not for other people who are viewing this. I'm not attacking any Christians as a person, just their beliefs. I know a lot of fine, upstanding Christians, moral, decent people, such as the people of reformedevangelist.com. So this is simply me challenging their beliefs as an atheist, as me being an atheist and them being Christians. Okay then, until next time.